Hello, YouTube. Military stats. Back with the evidence. So I know it's been a few days since I uploaded, but you know what? I'm sorry, because my phone sucks dick. It can't hold memory for shit. So I'm just using an iPod. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a story. Thought of it last night. It's called The Life of the Social Degenerate. Hey, turn on the stove. So, the life of the social degenerate is a nice, handsome-looking 15-year-old boy that was into nothing but gaming. He didn't want to engage in daily social activities with his family or friends. Every time he's been invited to a party or whatever, nah, I'll just stay here and play video games, because that's what he fucking did. That's what he does every day, all day. That's what he did. So, one day, he goes to school, eats breakfast, brushes his teeth, takes his meds, whatever, asthma treatment and shit. He goes to school, and then, I'd say every day, he gets cyberbullied and bullied in the real. You know why? Because he's a pussy. Because he wouldn't stand up to himself. Guess where he got that from? He has a crack act of a mom, he has a pussy of a dad, and he has a bitch as a fucking brother. And any fights he got into, nobody would back him up. He was out by himself, is basically what happened. So he comes home crying to his mom, saying he got beat up at school, and he got a black eye. His mom didn't do shit. You know what she did? She sat there like a fucking hoe, smoking crack out of a fucking crack pipe. That's what she did. She's smoking crack on a fucking recliner because she didn't give a shit. She didn't give a shit. She was just sitting there smoking. So what does he do next? His dad just gets home from work about 5 minutes after he got home from school. And then he said, "Dad, I got beat up at school today. What should I do?" He didn't say a damn thing. He walked right upstairs and went to bed after a long day. Well, you know what? You don't walk away from your kid. Wait, I'm not even going to get into that. That's going to piss me off. But continuing the story. So, the boy just goes up to his room and plays video games. And then, you know what he does? He starts camping. That's what he fucking does. He starts camping like a little bitch. He doesn't run out like a man. You know why? Because he's a pussy, and that's where he got it from. The pussy of the fucking parents. And then what happens? He developed such a chronic depression over the few years that he's been treated at school and at home. So, you know what he does? He quits school. He wanted to be homeschooled, but by his uncle. Apparently his uncle is a fucking flake and he's a little bitch, just like his parents. Nobody even gave a shit about him, and it makes me heartbroken because he don't give a shit. None of them give a shit about the kid. The kid just wants to live a normal, happy, everyday life. But you know what's preventing him? Part of the reason? Video games. Video games are rotting his fucking brain cells. It's mind controlling him to sit in front of that TV all fucking day and play video games. But he's missing so much out in the real. So then one day, he was so damn depressed that he ordered food because he was hungry. And he didn't want to eat dinner out with the parents. You know why? Because they didn't want to sit at the dinner table. The mom would keep smoking that crack on that fucking recliner, eating TV dinners, and his dad was eating nothing but raw fish in a fucking closet. So what does the son do? He grabs that raw fish and he eats in the closet. That's what he does because nobody wants to eat with him. And other than that, up with his fucking video game addiction, he refuses to take a shower. Actually, he doesn't refuse. He ends up forgetting to take a shower or other activities. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to end up like shit. That's what you're going to end up like. You're going to end up like shit. And when you grow old, you're going to have... You know what? Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. But the point is, in this story... I have to think for a minute. I got a brain fart. I apologize to the audience on YouTube. Ding! Okay, back to what I was saying. Excuse me. So, the kid actually decides to give it another shot weeks later to go back to school. You know, when school ends and then everybody's off for a few months, they come back. So, he comes back his sophomore year, first day. And he's all dressed up, right? He's all dressed up. Looking fresh, looking like he got swag. Well, guess what? Nobody still gave a fuck about that kid. Nobody. They don't even want to be around him because he was just a little social degenerate gaming nerd. And everybody else was doing normal, everyday outdoor activities. So, what does he do? I'm going to go ahead and skip to the end. This story is actually kind of long, and I keep getting sidetracked, but before I get sidetracked again. So, to the end of the story, he's had enough. He's had enough. He had enough of the bullshit at home. He had enough bullshit with school. So what does he do? He goes to the gun store. And the most frightening part is that he's never been around guns. He doesn't even know how to use it. So he asked the clerk, "How do you use this?" The clerk wouldn't tell it. He actually wouldn't sell it to him because he was too young. Which I think is bullshit, but... So, what does he do? The next day he gets somebody that was 25 to go get a gun for him. You know what he did? He did. He got that gun for that 15-year-old kid. 45 caliber. All cocked and loaded. 12 bullets in the chamber. No safety. That kid grabs that gun, says thank you. Thank you very much. He goes to a back alley and he shot himself right then and there. And, you know, there was a police officer just around the corner. He heard a gunshot. He ran to the back alley, and it was him, a 15-year-old social degenerate nerd. I mean, it's pretty sad, but you know what? That's life. Video games actually can drive you to suicide. Very slowly. Same thing with bullying. Bullying's actually the number one. Or child abuse or neglect and shit like that. But that's the end of the story. Oh, and by the way, the parents end up dying. The mom dies from an overdose of crack, and the dad dies from fucking grief over his son, even though he didn't give a shit about him, but then he felt bad after he found out that his son was dead in the back alley, so he didn't give a fuck. He hung himself. Anyway, that's the end of the story. Fuck. 10-minute upload. And that's the motherfucking story. Oh yeah, and the uncle also dies a very violent fucking death.